I mean, I'm one person who loves to cook, but this guy here is usually one of the factors that makes cooking really stressful for me. Because whenever I cook, he always finds a way to make me cry. Everybody knows onions, okay? Very important in most meals. However, I have a device that will help you to take your cooking level or cooking experience to the next level rather without you shedding a tear, some tears. And here is why, or here is where this device come to play. Most of you might already know this device, or if this is the first time learning about this device, this is the vegetable slicer. Okay, some people call it the vegetable chopper. And we're going to use it, we're going to demonstrate, we're going to review, and we're also going to make some recommendations. So in this video of today, we are going to dice onions, we are going to shred cabbage and carrots as well as cucumber. If you want to make coleslaw or if you want to make salad, I'm sure most of us confuse salad with coleslaw. Coleslaw simply refers to you having just these two veggies in your mixture, just this and this, and that's what makes coleslaw. But if you incorporate every kind of vegetables into your mixture, then that's when we call it a salad. Now, just to introduce you or unbox this great device, I am going to open them up and show you the different components that is made up of this machine. I'd also love to introduce you to one really important factor. This is BPA and PTFE free. Those are cancerous properties that if they are available in any of your kitchen utensils, they would really be dangerous to your health. And so whenever you're buying any kitchen device, be sure or make sure that it is BPA free. BPA simply means bisphenol A, which is anti-cancerous. It's used to produce most of this plastic, you know. Just I don't know for what reason it is. You can do your research, but they are not healthy in any kitchen appliances you may have. PTF is some form of cancerous property as well. So you have to make sure that they are free from these two elements. Okay. Now let us unbox. So I'm going to open this device and then we're going to see that there are 14 components or pieces that makes up this machine, device rather. So here is our device. Let's keep this one here in the corner and I'm going to introduce to you one after the other the various components that makes up the device. So first of all, I'm going to start with this. Now, this is where you're going to fix in most of the slicer. We have different slicer in this machine. If you look at the carton, we have the 1.5 millimeter slicer, we have the 1.0 millimeter slicer, we have the wavy slicer, and then we also have the grater. We also have the quartz cheese grater. This is the quartz cheese grater. So you can use this one to make your garlic, your ginger, just make it quartz in nature. If you don't want it to be too, how would I call it? What's the right word to use? If you don't want it to be too, English is failing me. What's the right word to use? If I remember, I'll say. But if you don't want it to be so, damn it. Okay, so if you don't want to grind it properly, so smooth, this is what you're going to use. Of course, some of us will use food processor, which is also very fine, but this will be really handy if there is no electricity. So this is where you're going to fix in most of your slicer and your grater in these components here. And this is where you're going to fixing most of your dicer. So we have the 6x6 dicing blade. This one is the 11x11 dicing blade. So if you want to dice your vegetable into very small cubes, this is the dicer you're going to use. It's easy for you to just take off and then fix it back. You're going to see how we're going to use all of them here. And this is where you're going to push in, and then your vegetable will come out as you desire. Now, what if those vegetables that you push in are stuck in here? This is why this push button is here. You just push a little forward and all those stuck vegetables will fall off. So we are done explaining this one. Wow. This one here is called the holder. You will see how it's going to come very handy. So there are some pins in here where you're going to hook your vegetable, and then you're going to hold it while you're slicing or you're grating, whichever one is the case. Now, this is also the bowl where all your diced vegetable or sliced vegetables are going to be deposited. So you're going to put this one in here, and then all your vegetables are going to fall in here. As a point of emphasis, whenever you're buying any new utensil, you have to wash it very well before you start using. And also, for your information, when you're washing this after use, you can use a dishwasher, but make sure that the dishwasher is not above room temperature, because if it's above room temperature, that means the water is hot. It is going to deform this plastic. That's not going to be nice, or even this. So just use normal dishwasher that is in room temperature. Okay, that will be fine. And this is the user manual. Like I would always say, every time you buy any device, read the manual. It's really helpful. I took time to read this manual, and it's really going to be useful. So here we have the grater. This one came with the peeler, sorry, where you can use to peel your fruit or vegetable. So for instance, let's just leave that, introduce everything first. So this one has been introduced. This is your egg separator. I really have not seen the reason why people separate eggs, but if you know why people separate eggs, the yolk from the white, then you can type in the comment section. Some people are going to get educated from that. So this is the egg separator. And this one here is for you to take out the crumbs that have been just stuck some way in this pusher. You could just use it to bring them out like this, which makes this thing really easy for everybody. That has been introduced. Another device we have here, because they are 14 all together, at this. This is the slicer. It should be the 1.0 millimeter slicer. The 1.0 millimeter slicer. This is the 1.5 millimeter slicer. If you want your slice to be thicker, you're going to use this one. If you want them to be thinner, you're going to use this one. The millimeter are written on the body, so you won't be confused. You don't need to cram anything. And this one here, it's called the quartz. How do you call this one? This is the grater. This is the 4 millimeter grater. 4 millimeter grater. This is it here, 4 millimeter grater, and this is the 3 millimeter grater. So if you grate, it's going to come smaller, and this one will make it a little bigger. And then I was correct, this one is the quartz grater. Okay, sorry, wavy slicer. So if you want to slice and you want it to come out in spiral wavy form, this is what you're going to use. So depending on how you want your vegetables to come out, all this device will be really handy. And this here is the 6x6 millimeter dicer. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horizontally, it is 6. vertically 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it's bigger than 11 by 11 millimeter. And that's everything about the component in this device. So let us get into the demonstration of how to use this device. I am very intrigued on how it's going to come out. I'm sure you want to also learn. Now, as a point of note, when you're using this vegetable slicer, like these onions, like this, you have to make sure that your vegetable is within the frame of the dicer. So if you put these whole onions here and you want to push into dice, it's going to be really difficult for the device to work. Because it's a great device doesn't mean you have to give it too much work. I mean, this is something that is supposed to help you to ease your job in the kitchen. So just follow instruction. That means you have to reduce the size of these onions. If it's possible, you can reduce this size of onions into 3, which is much finer. But if you can reduce it to 2, it can still handle it. But if you can do it into 3, slice, and then it dies, that will be perfectly fine. Okay, you do the same for every vegetable that you're dicing. It has to be within the area of the activity. By what do I mean? It should You should not put any vegetable to overlap this area of dicing. It should be within the area of dicing. So that now we finish with the review, we are going to go into the demonstration of how this device can be put to use. So how do we do that? Let's start by reducing the sizes of the vegetables, and then we are going to see how these things are going to put in play. I'm so excited right now. So my knife is really funny. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut my onions into 3 dice. I don't know what I'm going to use this for, really, but I hope I don't waste it. So as you can see, I have reduced the size, and you're going to see how wonderful this thing is going to come up. So for the cabbage, you are going to do the same thing. This cabbage right here, you could actually achieve different shape with this carrot. If you want it to come out in cubes, then you have to use the dicing blade. If you want it to come out like maybe in strand, you know, in strand, like you want to make your coleslaw, then this is what you're going to use, the wavy slicer. So for this carrot, I'm going to use the wavy slicer. I don't want it to come out in cubes, but if you want it to come out in cubes, then you're going to put it right in the cube dicer. So for my carrot as well, I'm going to use the wavy slicer because I want all of them to come out in long strand. Okay, so let us see how that is going to be possible. I'm just going to reduce the size of my cabbage this way. So I'm going to use just this because I don't have intention of using it right now. So I'm just going to use this for my demonstration. Okay, so how about we test the peeler and see how the peeler works. So this is the peeler right here. Let's try and peel this cucumber and see how it goes. So if you drag it this way, very pretty easy. You don't have to stress. You see, very nice slice or peel without you necessarily taking more part of the vegetable with you. You can see it came out very nice. I'm sure it's something you like. Hope you're seeing. Let me be sure that you're seeing the effects of the slice. Came out very nice. Okay, so here, very nice, very nice. So you can see that the peeler is working absolutely well. This peeler has been put into test. Now let us see how we're going to put the dicer into use. So I'm going to fix this quad slicer because this is what I'm going to use for my carrot. So if you want to fix it, you just take it, put it this way from one end and close, and that will be it. So before now I had washed this device, okay, which you should as well do so, but for the benefit of the doubt, let me still wash it again. So give me some minutes. Give me some minutes. So let's start with the onions first, and then we'll see how it's going to come up. So we have to open the pusher, place your onions. You can see the onions is well placed within the area of activity. So all you need to do is press this in. Wow, that was a mess. So that means you have to really make sure this fits in very well. That was our first trial. So let's try the onions again. Make sure to fit in this very well. Push it in as hard as you can to make sure that it is duly fitted. And all you need to do is to push this in. The onions is going in already. You give it another push, and it's gone. All the onions are gone. Okay, so in some cases where you're going to see it being difficult for you to dice some vegetable, it means you should try a bigger dicer, which will do a better job, I guess. Why no? So now let us see how the onions was being grated or diced. Look at it here. You did a nice job, Abby. Yeah, you did a great job. You diced the onions so well. I mean, you don't need to cry again or shed tears while you're trying to cook. So with just a push in button, and your onions are already diced. So should we try another one? Let's try the remaining onion. And let me use the other dicer. I mean, you want to try everything. Okay? So let me try this other dicer, which is the 6x6. Make sure you push it in to fit very well, so it's strong enough, and you take it in. All you need to do is, okay, it's duly fitted. All you need to do is push. See? It's gone.
So if you're using the bigger dicer is going to give you bigger chunks or cubes of onions. This is what we have. So if you want your onions to be this size big, then you should use the 11 by 11. But if you, sorry, 6 by 6. But if you want it to be this size chopped, then you use the 6 by. Okay. Feels like it's so strong in. So I'm done with that. Which vegetable do we need to try next? So I'm just going to take the onions and set it aside. We're done with our onions. Now we want to try another vegetable, which is the cabbage. And like I said, we wanted to use the shredder to try the cabbage. So should we start with the, okay, I'll use the slicer, the 1.55 millimeter slicer for the cucumber. Let's do our cabbage with the quartz slicer. So this is what you're going to do. This pin here, you're just going to slide it in and let it attach to your vegetable. It is attached, so that way you can start your slicing. Now let's start. Wow, I was taken away. I didn't know I had gone that far. So let's see what we have inside here. When we opened this, that was so little, and then had gone so far in the activity that I didn't even know the cabbage was almost gone. So this is what we have. Our cabbage is well shredded. It's well shredded. I just need to use this little to show you how this device can work. Okay, so look at how fine it shredded the cabbage. Okay, but now that it's remaining very small, you could just put it into the dicer and just finish it up. I just knew. Okay, so that's done, and we have all our cabbage in here. So this is the shredded here versus the diced. Which one do you think came out finer? Drop your comments. Which one came out finer? This is the shredded, and this is the diced. Nice. Okay, so what else do we need to slice? I think we need to slice the carrots, and I'm still going to use this same think this carrot is so ununiform, so I'm just going to use my dicer. I don't want to stress. Carrot is so ununiformed. Don't like the structure of the carrot. I'll just dice everything. It's gone. Put in another one. It's pretty easy, right? Pretty easy. Now I think I want to do more than myself now. Let's try this. It did it. It did it. Okay. So if you want it to be smaller, you can change the dicer and then use a smaller dicer, and it's going to do it smaller. Now let's try the slicer with this carrot, sorry. So I'll just fix it into the holder. It's fixed. Oh, I think this is not going to be. Okay, let me try something. You just have to be innovative, yeah? Wow, this carrot is something else. Let me use my free hand. Blade is so sharp that you will be doing something and you feel nothing is happening until you almost get to your hand. That's why the handle is there. So that whole carrot is almost gone. You have to be very careful. If not, it's a blood we are going to clean. Okay. So once it gets to this size, you should really be careful. You don't have to do that again, if not you're going to enjoy yourself. So let's see how the carrot came out. See the results of the dicing here. As you can see how the dice came out, the quartz dice came out pretty nice. Came out pretty nice, okay? This is lovely. So this machine is, would I recommend it? Yeah. It's highly recommended. It makes your job easy in the kitchen. And it is absolutely BPE free. So everyone in the kitchen could make use of this. See, very easy. Now let me change the dicer. Let me change from the quartz dicer to the slicer. This is the 1.0 millimeter. Let's see how it would come out. I just want to test everything. Sorry, I have to take it from one end, then do this. When you think it's not doing anything, it's actually doing something.